Hi guys, it's Marcy Fiorillo here, and today we are going to work through Chapter 11 in your Illustrator text, exploring creative uses of effects and graphic styles. In this lesson, you'll learn how to work with an appearance panel, edit and apply appearance attributes, copy, disable, and enable and remove appearance attributes, reorder appearance attributes, apply and edit an effect, apply a variety of effects, save and apply an appearance as a graphic style, apply a graphic style to a layer, and scale strokes and effects. There's lots to work through in this chapter. I am going to focus on using live effects. Effects alter the appearance of an object without changing the underlying artwork. Applying an effect adds the effect to the object's appearance attribute, which you can edit, move, delete, or duplicate at any time in the appearance panel. There are two types of effects in Illustrator. There are vector effects and raster effects. In Illustrator, click the Effect menu item to see the different types of effects available. The first one we're going to work on is a vector effect. The top half of the effects menu contains vector effects. You can apply these effects only to vector objects or to the fill or stroke of a bitmap object in the appearance panel. You can use effects such as 3D effects, filters, warp effects, transform effects, drop shadow, feather, inner glow, and outer glow. So we're going to start with just a basic drawing that I have here, my lovely tree, and we are going to apply a drop shadow to it, and it's the same as any of the other effects. We're just choosing the drop shadow. So the first thing is you have to have the object selected. Now I've grouped these two shapes together to create my tree object. So I'm going to click on it with my selection tool to select it. I'm going to go up to my top menu and choose Effect, and remember the top half are the vector effects, so I'm going to go down to Stylize and Drop Shadow, and you can see that my Drop Shadow menu appears here. I always want to have my preview button checked so that I can see what is happening as I'm editing. And in your lesson, they've set the following parameters for your drop shadow. Multiply, opacity at 100%. They want the X offset at 0.03, so I'm just going to type that in. And the Y offset at 0.03. And then the blur at 0.04. with the darkness selected at 50%. Once I've selected and changed all of my parameters there, I'm going to hit OK. And now you can see that my little tree here has a tiny little drop shadow. Since the effect is live, it can be edited after it's applied to the object. And you can do so in the appearance panel, which you worked with in the beginning of this chapter. First, again, you need to make sure the object is selected, and then, as you know, all of its attributes will appear in the appearance window. If you click on Drop Shadow, you get that same box that will open up, and then you can edit certain things if you don't like the way that particular effect turned out. So let's say we want it to be a little bit darker, so I'm going to hit 75% darkest and hit OK. And you can see that it then applied that effect to my object. One of the great things that's changed about Illustrator over the years is you can now add Photoshop effects directly into your Illustrator file. Remember that a raster effects actually generates pixels rather than the vector data for your objects. If you go to the effect menu, you can see that the bottom half of the effects are these raster or Photoshop effects. So again, we have to have our object selected. I'm going to get rid of the drop shadow for now just so we can concentrate on our raster effect, and I'm going to choose a texture effect. Now if you already know what you're looking for, you can choose any of these, but I'm going to go to Texturizer because it's going to give me all the choices and I can see what they look like. Just like in Photoshop, as you will see later, or if you've played around with it on your own, it will show you a preview of what each one of these textures is. So you can choose from the different ones and see exactly what kind of texture you're going to get. It's always fun to click through these and see what it does to your your artwork. I'm going to choose texturizer because I want to kind of mess with my own texture. And then over here you get all of the specifics that you can change. I do want to leave it to canvas, which is the default setting, but I want to change the scaling to 110%. Notice you can either slide the slider until it looks like what you want it to look like, or you can just type in, as your book directs you to do, to 110%. For the relief, I want it to be 5. And then I'm going to leave the light at the top for the default setting. And you can see this is the texture that I get. So if I choose OK, I'll go back to my object, and you can see it has applied the texture effect to my tree. It now looks like it was painted on canvas. So now that you've learned all of the basics of the drawing tools in Illustrator, you can add these effects to really create some complex and interesting designs. Thanks a lot!